But how are you doing?
I'm losing my mind.
It sounds like it's been a bit crazy for you lately. So,
It's crazy good, like
yeah.
so unexpected,
Hmm.
especially like during COVID, for things to be this way is just wow, just crazy.
No,
Yeah,
that's awesome though, because I know there was worry, especially when the pandemic first broke out, about indie filmmakers and film
right.
artists and what you were going to do and how it was going to play out. And I know there was some concern for quite some time.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, like I say over and over, I'm like, I'm one of the lucky ones because, as you know, me being a nurse as well, and continuing to still work a little bit in nursing, what happened was COVID opened the door for me to do COVID compliance officer, COVID nurse. So, I could work 7 days a week and never have a day off. Like
Wow.
I literally was triple booked for the next 2 weeks. And I had completely scattered today because my whole life got rearranged in the past 24 hours. So I am one of the lucky ones for sure because I do have a couple of college degrees and I do have a long background in nursing and also because I produce and I direct and I wear a lot of hats. So for me, I've just got my hands on a lot of different things all the time. I'm like super motivated. It's like I'm not getting any younger and there's lots of competition out there, but my only competition is myself.
Sure.
And that's truly the truth. I know a lot of people say that, but I really, really feel that way.
Well, I'm glad you were able to take some time out of your busy schedule to finally talk. I know we've been back and forth on chatting and stuff for years and talking about your projects. When Hair of the Dog came out, which congratulations on the nomination.
Thank you.
When do you know the results of that?
I am not sure. I
Mhm.
think this week. It was a complete shock when, I got a message, got an email, and it was like, hey, we're interested in showing Hair of the Dog at our film festival. And I was like, by this point, I haven't showed the film much anymore because we shot that before I even moved to Los Angeles,
Sure.
I'm proud of it for my first out the gate directorial debut. It's done very well and been very well received and introduced me to the film festival world even more. But it's just, crazy that I didn't even submit. They contacted me and they said they wanted to play it. And I was like, oh, sure, whatever, here you go. And then I, did an interview, I guess about a month ago. And then they contacted me again and Matthew from Shockfest, and he was like, hey, can you do another interview with us? And we're going to have some other people on and we're just going to do a fun little game. And they didn't tell us that that was a game to bring all of us that were nominated as directors together. And it was so cool because I'm sitting here and as people are popping on, and it was funny because I talked to Patrick Rea. Literally, we were messaging
Hmm.
constantly because I love him and I love his work, and we share our work with one another. And I messaged him and I was like, hey, I watched Fused, and once again, great job, And then we were messaging, and I was like, hey, I got to let you go. I got to hop on this, podcast. And he's like, oh, yeah, I do too. Wait, what podcast? What podcast are you doing? We were like, oh, no way, And then, and there's Brandon Slagle and there's, Sean Tretta and Joe Lujan. And again, these are all people I know. Like,
Hmm.
I know, and kind of my inner circle. And I was just like, hey, guys, like, whoa, I'm with a badass group of people here. Like, awesome, and he told me it was trivia and I was like, oh, I suck at horror trivia, I'm gonna lose my ass, but it'll be fun, so just to be in that company was like so freaking cool.
Hmm.
And then for him to say, and we're letting you know you're all nominated as best director at Shockfest, and I was like, shut the hell up. And, and again, mine's my little short film. And,
Mhm.
you got, the Mahals and Brandon Slagle with this big Attack of the Unknown. So, my chances are slim, but that's okay. I'm like ecstatic to be nominated and to be included very unexpectedly. So super cool of everyone at Shockfest.
That is super cool, and who
Yeah.
knows? Who knows? You may be surprised with the award, but it is good company, and to get nominated, So
Right. Right.
it's 2020, so anything can happen, right? So
Oh my God. Yeah, this is true. Definitely true. Maybe I'll wake up and be 20 years younger. Who knows?
I, I that that would be a I would love that to wake up and be
And
20
know
years
what
young.
I know now? Like, absolutely for sure.
Keep
Those people that go, oh, I wouldn't go back and change a thing. I'm like, whatever.
keep my knowledge, but take me back 20 years. I could
Give
live
me a
with that.
20-year younger face and body. And yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. Speaking of badass, the film that's coming out in December 8th, The Devil's Heist.
Yes.
You get to play a badass character, and I'm gonna say that when I watched it, when you showed up, because I saw your name in it, I went into it cold. I'm like, okay, you show up, and you're just. I loved the Lilith character and the
Yeah.
makeup and the outfit. I mean, how did you what was it about this role that made you want to take it?
It's like I think back to the beginning, and Brian would probably kill me. It's Brian's film. I
Mhm.
don't remember how the hell I even became involved. Like I really don't. It might have been Brian. I want to say Brian contacted me through social media, like what happens through Facebook or something. I don't know, because I literally did not know one person in that project. This was a complete random thing, and I read the couple of scenes or whatever, and it was like shooting in Palm Springs, and I was working a lot, but I happened to like have that weekend that I wasn't working, and I was like, oh, it's someone new, this is a cool role, I'll do it, whatever. And then I was like, who's doing special effects makeup, and what's she going to look like, and what are we going to do? And then I did know the special effects makeup artist.
Okay.
I knew he would do a really good job. So a lot of times I do my own basic makeup towards kind of the character, and then the special effects makeup artist kind of enhances, like after I kind of talk to the director and what look do you have and that kind of thing. So yeah, he sprayed all the cold veins, and he did the little horns, and then I put my little corset and my leather skirt, and yeah, it was fun. And that was the first film I worked on with Mike Ferguson, and I've said this every time I talk about it. With that film, I met him right before on set, right before we did the scene.
Mhm.
And we went in and we did the scene, and it was kind of quiet. Everyone was kind of quiet. And I went in full force. I was yelling, I was screaming, I was flipping my shit. And and he was doing it back, and right away it was just explosive. So we had this like badass on-screen chemistry. So right away we were like, dude, man, you like, we got to do something else. And we've done, like, I think we've done 5 or 6 films together,
Mhm.
playing opposite one another now, and we're both doing pretty well acting wise as well. Our careers are getting better and better, growing, not better, but getting to a little bit higher caliber. And it was fun. I just went in full force, because a lot of times I don't get to play the bad character
Mhm.
unless I'm like the other woman, or something like that, with my look like now, red lipstick, cleaved, typical what people see as my character kind of. So for that, it was so much fun, because it was just like completely like balls to the wall, just like totally went for it.
Well,
So fun.
it came across on screen because I was like, damn. I mean, I was like,
It was like a
okay.
force.
I was, I was like, wow. You just took that scene, and I'm like, she's gonna kick everyone's ass. I mean, I'm like, is
Well,
that?
good. That's what I wanted, Mark.
I was like, is that Sheri? Oh, I get that. And the makeup too was phenomenal actually throughout the whole
Mhm.
film. That really surprised me, but especially with your
Yeah.
makeup and on Ferguson as well, the
Mm.
detail, because usually indie films, on a lot of them, when they do the devil or whatnot, they might do horns or whatnot, but I mean you had a full makeup from head to toe type of uh, uh appliance on it. And yeah, I thought it looked really good. And yeah, it was a fun film, but definitely was a fun scene. I was like, you need your own movie for Lilith. You really.
Well, and I got to tell you, Mike and I are we've been talking. We're pitching doing a prequel that's based on our characters.
Oh, nice. I, I,
Right.
I, I would like that because there seemed to be a lot of history between the two characters, and we don't get a whole lot of scenes with you two. But I'm just like, I want more of that.
And that's what we're getting quite a bit, because
Mhm,
that's really kind of what we're being told over and over. It is really a standout scene for
mhm,
that particular movie. That is a standout scene, and I'm being told that over and over. Like, I want, people that are getting to review it are like, I want more of that. Like, I want more of your character. Like, I want more of that intense shit that was happening. And so that was when Mike was like, "Yo, man," because that's how he talks. He's like, "Yo, man, we need to like do a prequel, like me and Sheri, like Satan and Lilith. And so he's gonna hate he's gonna hate that I just that might be him right there, that I just imitated him. It was a really sucky imitation. So we are kind of talking
mm.
about that. So thank you. That's what I wanted. When I walked into a room full of people I didn't know, I just went for it completely. You know.
Yeah,
So
and it
cool.
and it did come across like that. Now, I'm not kidding when we tell people that you are busy. I mean, you've got
Yes.
with IMDb, you got 89 credits to your name, and like 20 of those are either finished productions or pre-production or coming out. I'm like,
I'm
you're
busy.
just you're a busy woman.
And I say no a lot too.
Hmm.
I honestly do say no a lot, and I'm working crew a lot. And I've done probably 5 feature films that I'm not even able to talk about yet,
Sure.
that are not even up on IMDb, that are with, major studios and that kind of thing. And then, of course, now I'm lucky enough that, my goal in 2020 was really to break into television and
Hmm.
start doing more television auditions again, because when I started my career in Texas, and I was in Texas, Louisiana, and Oklahoma, I did more auditions for network
Hmm.
things and a lot of commercials, and I was more a commercial actor than anything. So I fell into, as you know, we've talked before, I fell into this whole indie world that I didn't even know it existed. And it's definitely drama filled. All the drama is not on screen. Some of it's not where we want it to be.
Sure.
But, I love it at the same time. And I think it's, finding those indie filmmakers who are so like minded that they really want
Hmm.
they want the quality of the work to be better, and not just keep kicking films out. And
Right.
so that was something I kind of felt like, okay, I've done all these films, I've worked with this filmmaker over and over or whatever, and I don't see, the quality improving, or I don't see me having a clip I can use for a demo reel to get bigger auditions, and things like
Hmm.
that. So I just had to say, thank you. I appreciate working with you. And now it's, my resume's built, and now it's at a time and a point where doing too many indie films is actually hurting me a little bit.
Mm.
So
Sure.
I'm kind of at this point, like I have to pick and choose what I do at this point.
Right.
But
Well,
yes, lots of projects. One unexpected that I'm going to announce today with you,
mm,
before we get off, but
oh.
that I've not announced, and everyone's wondering what the hell it is. And now that the contract is signed, I have permission to announce it before we get off here today. But
Oh, well,
we'll see.
now you're teasing me. Now I'm really excited about that. uh, you've worn many hats though, and producer, director, actress. Do you How do you like directing? Because I mean, you did Hair of the Dog. You've got a couple other directorial credits. Do you enjoy directing as much as acting, or is it a little bit different hat?
I think it's fulfilling in a different way.
Hmm.
For me, The thing I have loved the most is acting, but it is the thing that I find most challenging because honestly, I always say I'm an introverted extrovert because I mean honestly like I have to prepare myself to be around people. I
Sure.
really do. Otherwise I'm perfectly fine in my own world,
Hmm.
which surprises people, you know, because when they meet me I seem very outgoing and very bubbly, and that is who I am, but for the most part I have to mentally like prepare myself for that, just like I mentally prepare myself for acting in a way. So maybe that's why acting kind of came natural. Maybe I've been doing that throughout my life, you know, and not that I don't like people. It's just a matter of, I'm also very self-conscious, you know,
Yeah.
so it's like, you know, no, I don't want to be in front of the camera, you know, or you know, no, I'll stay behind the camera. But with directing and producing are so natural for me.
Hmm.
Like, you know, having put myself through college twice, and you know, been a single mom and been a management and been a business owner, I really, I don't see it any different than those things, because that's me wearing a lot of hats and juggling a lot of things and really paying attention to my calendar and my schedule and all the different people I have to, you know, juggle through my day, and just staying on track with things. And it's also about good planning and good organization. So for me, directing is, I absolutely love it. Like, I cannot emphasize how much I love directing. Like I
Hmm.
really like love it in my heart, like love it so much. Like I do acting too. And every time I think I'm going to get back to directing something, I book another role. So everyone's like, why does the film keep getting pushed back? When are we going to do it? You know, people get frustrated. And I'm like, am I going to say no, you know, if I
Hmm.
get this amazing offer, you know, or whatever? And so, yeah, I mean, I love directing, and I have several things I'm in line to direct, you know, that are, you know, I've got budgets up to like $300,000, which is pretty
Nice.
damn good for indie film, you know, for someone that's only directed a couple of short films. So, you know, my goal is, you know, I will continue to do all the above, you know, to act, produce, and direct. You know, as long as people want me to do those things, they keep hiring me to do those things, I'm going to keep doing those things.
And it's definitely a balancing act between that, because I think a lot of people don't realize people like yourself in the indie business also have that day job that you've got to juggle and work in as well, and that throws in the extra challenge, I imagine, you know, for scheduling all this to try to increase your career, but also, you know, keep that day job so you can, you know, have a roof over your head.
Right. But, you know, going back to the nursing thing, you know, I've been lucky
Hmm.
because I've not really struggled.
Hmm.
I will say financially, you know, Texas is so much cheaper to live. You know, my
Sure.
family has land and house and, you know, that kind of thing. And all of my family is Texas and Oklahoma, basically. But um, yeah, I mean, for me, I am also to the point that I don't do like hospital nursing.
Hmm.
I said I was done when I moved to California, and I have not done hospital nursing since I moved here. So the nursing I'm doing, or I'm doing like set medic,
Oh.
or you know,
Hmm.
now like I said, the COVID compliance officer, or COVID nursing, you know. And
Sure.
I'm lucky because I'm working with Warner Brothers and Lionsgate and, you know, big studios now that I'm able to combine. And that's what helps me is I have my nursing and my entertainment business. So when I'm sticking a swab up, you know, some famous actor's nose, it's like, hey, dude, what's up? You know, here, get your nose, you know, while I've got all these young new nurses over here that are on my team that are like, did you see who that was? Oh my God, I loved him, and, you know, whatever. And I'm just like, dude, man, it's just another person, you know.
It's like it's okay, ladies, settle down, you know.
Yeah, it's just it's really interesting, you know. And then it's to the point of, you know, hey, can I follow you? What's your Instagram? And I'm like, you know, when you're gonna know my other life, you know. And do I want this person knowing my other life until I'm done working with this person on this particular contract, you know? So
Sure.
for me, that's kind of an issue as well.
Mm-hmm.
That's also one of the reasons I left the hospital, because I was starting to get recognized.
Ah, sure.
Um, yeah, people were looking me up, and because our name is right there on our badge.
Mm-hmm.
And I had people like going up to the charge nurse, if I wasn't the charge nurse, or going to the manager, you know, are you sure she's a nurse? She's an actress. I looked her up, da da da, and so then that became an issue. So it just got to the point like I can't be in the hospital. I can't work, like that anymore. So luckily I'm able to work on set in that sense as well, that capacity.
Yeah, well, that's great. You could combine the two, be and network. You could network that
Yeah,
way while you're shoving a
absolutely. It has opened doors, baby. It has opened doors.
because you can.
And I don't look like actress Sheri. I look like, I don't have the makeup on, especially not when we're wearing, the N95, a surgical mask, a face shield, a gown, and gloves up to here. I mean, I don't look like this.
Sure,
So
sure.
it's, I have to go, hey, by the way, I do this too. Now that we've known each other for 2 weeks, maybe we could, meet for lunch, or, whatever
Hmm.
outside where it's safe, because, we're in LA, it's open anyways.
Right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's been,
I saw that LA is going back down on a lockdown. Is that going to affect? Because I'm sure you kind of have your thumb on the industry. Is that kind of got people concerned again because they're going to be doing that?
oh yeah, the production I've been working on for months, got shut down back in March,
Mm.
and then it started back up, and then there was an outbreak of COVID. uh, I think we had like 6 cases, and they happen to be in different departments. And when one department has to shut down, a
Mm.
whole second unit has to be. It's just crazy. So we got shut down for a few days, and we started back up. So yeah, I've been like calling and texting like what's going on. And then I have another production I'm supposed to start on that was supposed to be the 7th. And I was texting the producer, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And she's like, well, right now we're pushing back a few days. We hope we don't have to push back again. So it's just right now, I feel like everybody's kind of on standby to see what's going to happen tomorrow,
Sure.
Monday, because Monday's the day for the true change. It did affect me in the way that I have a film, which again we're going to announce later, that I'm leaving for, and I got called to do a television movie that I really want to work with, and I have to quarantine when I come back,
Sure.
and I can't do it for that reason. And I don't want to give up the thing that I just booked, because it's a great role and a challenging role, and I get to be bad, which I'm totally down with. So yeah, so we don't know what the hell's going to happen, Mark. We just
Mm.
don't, you
Sure.
know?
Yeah, and I think everybody's kind of in that situation right now.
Right.
My wife is a contact tracer for the state. She got a
Oh,
job
there you go.
here,
Yeah.
so yeah, and I just getting to hear some of the reactions and things going on with that. It's like it's understandable why we are where we're at. So,
Yes, it is. I could tell you so many stories
oh,
of
I
me being
bet.
at with the no mask, the anti-mask people.
Mm,
I've had to report people. It's just like, dude, it's like the rules right now. Let's just do what, the rules are. Yeah,
so what made you want to get into acting and take this crazy ride into film and TV?
crazy. Crazy. Just a glutton for punishment. No, no, I've told the story a lot. My daughter was a child actor, and she's an adult now, and my boyfriend was an actor, and he kept saying, "You need to be the one doing this," and you know, whatever. And I was like, no. I was looking at that time actually becoming an agent,
Oh,
because I learned so much about the business. I was kind of managing him. And then I was always, taking my daughter to acting classes, and I wasn't allowed in the room and some. So I would sit right outside, and I'd be taking notes, like writing, 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 taking notes like crazy. Or some I was allowed to sit there off in the corner, or
hmm,
whatever, if she wanted me in there. So I fell into it completely. Just was on a set, actress didn't show up. Short version is, the next thing I know, I'm calling my daughter's agent, and They want me to do 5 lines into the camera, or they said, don't look in the camera. Just
Right.
whatever you do, don't look in the camera. And the first thing I did, was a television show, and I'd
Sure.
never acted before in my life, and I was terrified and said no probably 50 times. And then I started doing crew, and then I started doing background work because I was just blown away with all the moving parts of
Hmm.
people and how everything comes together. And I just thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And so for me, I tell everyone, my schooling was like an internship, is how I compare it again to my nursing. I worked basically for free for 2 years of nursing school out in the hospital. It's an internship, just like an
Hmm.
attorney or a doctor, any profession like that. So for me, background work, being a PA, being a script supervisor, whatever, that was my schooling. And I was studying everything, and I was really watching the actors.
Well, and
And
that's sometimes the best way to learn, especially in, I would say, the film industry. I've actually had the chance to be on a couple indie sets and see the behind the scenes stuff, as you mentioned. And I loved it, even though it was crazy. I mean, there were 14-hour days. This weekend, we're filming in a hot barn. And it
yeah,
smelled, and there's no air conditioning at all. And you're like, and I got done after we got done shooting the scenes we needed to, and I was like, let's do this again. And I'm like, what's
yeah.
wrong with me?
Yeah. It's, when people use it, as bit by the acting bug or whatever, I mean, it truly is like once you really get it, you
Hmm.
get it. Like and it's hard to ever think of your life not doing it, I think, or for a lot of us, for most of us. And even those people who now do other things that will reach out every once in a while and be like, look, I tried it, or I did the LA thing and I didn't last. And, I'm so proud of you, or to see how much you've grown, or, whatever. It's super, super cool. So, and for me, I've always worked long hours. I've always been a workhorse.
Hmm.
So the thing that does bother me is the not having control of the weather when you're shooting outside, or when it's 120 degrees and you're in the desert and you can't run the air conditioning, or I'm freezing in snow or ice weather and you don't see it on camera, but that's actually what's around me. So I think I have no tolerance to heat and cold anymore. So I honestly think that is my most challenging thing, is that not even the long hours,
Hmm.
just the elements of, the different temperatures, totally.
Yeah, and I and I think people don't realize that, like, you can't run the air conditioner because the audio will pick it up, or a heater because the audio will pick it
Yeah, can't have cold drinks if you're in a house with a refrigerator, because the refrigerator humming will be picked up. You try to turn the air on in between takes, if you, or, in between scene, whatever you can do,
up. Hmm.
but by that point, when you're a girl and you've got a lot of hair and makeup, your makeup's melting off and your clothes are sticking to you. And it's not glamorous like people think it is. And I'm like, I'm walking up, I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm sweating. I know you probably smell me and we have to make out. And, I mean, I'm sorry.
The thing is, you're all in the same boat, though, so you all
Yeah.
smell. So there you go. So you all you all share a
Some
smell.
smell worse than others. Okay.
That's true. That's true. So, who would you say? Do you draw any inspirations from either actors or directors, namely female directors? Do you draw any inspirations from them? Like, you follow them and kind of pull what they do and kind of use that for your own work as far as inspiration goes?
I mean, I love Jen Lynch, and
Hmm.
she's one of my biggest, influences. And, when I tell the story how I started directing and got the nerve up to do it, Jen Lynch is the reason why, because I happened to meet her birthday weekend, my birthday weekend at TFW. That's where we partied for my birthday, and met her at a VIP party, and, have stayed in touch with her through social media ever since. We
Nice.
chat and everything. And yeah, I just, she's been very much a positive voice,
Hmm.
for me.
Oh, that's great to hear. And before we get to your announcement, what advice would you give, especially to say females out there who want to be filmmakers, because I think people don't realize it's still a challenge for a lot of it seems like for women to still get into the business, even with as much indie stuff out there. What advice would you give them if they want to be a director or actress or just get into the business?
I mean, first of all, go for it,
Hmm.
and do it. But I think the way you go about doing it is very, very important. You know, don't use your femininity to get the people you want or whatever, kind of thing. Because I feel like that whole thing can work both ways. The male female thing.
Hmm.
So I think use your brains, more so, and do your research and be organized. And if you don't know the answer, you don't know how to do something, go to the people that have the answers, that have more experience. But I think, I take a lot of online directing classes, with a lot of females as well, women in film groups and things like
Hmm.
that. So I think, become a part of groups like that can help mentor you, in a positive way, that aren't women that are competitive with one another, but that are women who want to uplift one another. So I think surrounding yourself by other female filmmakers who, are there for you and want
Hmm.
to help one another out, kind of thing. And then just going for it you know with Hair of the Dog, what I did was, it was very important to me not having the technical skills, that I put each person in place on my crew that I knew I could trust and say, look, I'm not the tech savvy person, I don't know all the technical stuff with this, you're my cinematographer, I'm trusting you to do this and to guide me. If I tell you this is the look I'm going for, and I'm working, with my lighting, my
Hmm.
gaffer, that kind of thing, I'm like, I talk to each person and I'm like, I'm trusting all of your expertise. So I think as a female director, putting a team together, if you're doing indie, because you can put you're putting your own team together
Sure.
versus, big budget, um, then really, I mean, I spend more money on crew, and I will continue to spend a lot of money on crew. My actors are super important too, but crew, we work together day in and day out, very, very long hours, where as actors, we come and go. We're not there as often. We come into our scenes and we leave. So I cannot stress. Everyone I talk to is all about who the actors are. I'm all about who is on crew,
Right.
to know what this damn film is going to look like.
Hmm.
How's the sound going to be? How's the lighting going to be? That kind of thing. So that all of that is, some advice I would give other female filmmakers.
And that's great, and I think you make a really good point, because you can have a great actor in front of the camera, but if you don't have someone who knows how to do lighting, how to frame the shot, how to edit that together, that great actor is going to look like crap to the people, and
Right,
that
exactly.
and that will reflect their performance. So even though they might put
I
on a
know that. Honey, you're preaching to the choir, okay? You are preaching to the choir. You've seen a lot of my films, okay? And it's like, I really didn't act that badly, but I look really bad in that, It's like, I'm not the best actress. I'm not up for an Oscar or anything like that, but it's just like, could you, I feel like I did my job. Could all of y'all do your job and make me look a little better?
so yes, the importance of crew for sure.
Yeah.
Well, this has been a wonderful conversation, Sheri, and now I am anxious to hear what is this project, this announcement that you wanted to give. So the floor is yours for sure.
Okay, so I guess night before last, I got a message from someone I had worked with years ago on not my favorite project, but he was very, very nice, and I have respect for him. And he is a producer on a project I was familiar with, which had people in it that I had worked with before, had a little drama with them, and they had some people attached I did not want to be attached to. But um, The director, I'm a big fan of. And lo and behold, the lead actress, who I think is one of the best actresses out there and should be right up there with Meryl Streep and
Hmm.
Glenn Close. I think she's amazing and she is so freaking underrated. And she was unable to travel.
Mm.
And lo and behold, I'm doing the second Axe to Grind, and I'm filling
Nice.
in for Debbie Rochon.
Oh, wow.
So I will be the Debbie Rochon of Acts 2 Grind. And this is also going to reunite myself and Spencer Gray, who,
Nice.
we did the first film he directed, Snake with a Human Tail, and which I helped produce and starred in. And I feel very grateful to Spencer because, that indie film kind of put me on the map.
Hmm.
And so I haven't seen Spencer literally since right after we did Snake with a Human Tail. So I am flying to Oklahoma City, where he now lives, where he is going to college and kicking butt in school. And he is directing the second Axe to Grind, which is Axe 2 Grind. And I start filming in a couple of days. So I've had about
Wow.
2 days to learn a feature script and the lead role. No pressure.
No pressure. You got this. You got
And I've
this.
had to rearrange my whole life to go.
It's that's a big film though. I've seen a lot of buzz. I saw they had a epic campaign for it
Yeah,
as well. So it is unfortunate Debbie couldn't reprise her
it
role,
is.
but
It
con-
is. She's amazing.
but congratulations on the role,
Thank you.
and I totally agree. She is, I think, a very excellent indie actress that
Oh my
deserves
gosh, she's amazing.
more credit. Yeah. So yeah, definitely. So there you hear it, folks. Hey, you heard it here on Acts 2 Grind. Uh, which I saw the first one. I really enjoyed the first Axe to Grind. So, Axe number 2 Grind.
Uh,
Production starts soon. Good luck with you on that, Sheri.
Thank you.
That looks like it's going to be a blast. And maybe after that's done and dust has settled a little bit, we can talk again about that and other
Sure,
things.
absolutely.
So, this has been a fantastic conversation. Where can people go to keep up with your many projects and all of that? Is there a place online? It's your floor for your license to shill. So, shill away.
So everything as far as my social, that tells you kind of where my brain is everywhere. My social media is my name, Sheri, which is Sheri, one R-I, Sheri.Davis on Instagram. On Twitter is the Sheri Davis. And on Facebook, I have 2 pages. I have Sheri Davis Actress is my fan page. And then I have my regular Facebook page, which is more personal people and,
Sure.
colleagues and, my friends and things like that. And I do have fans that, get in there that I've known for years or,
Hmm.
people that I do, podcasts with, which is how you and I got to know one another many years ago as well. So yeah, everything's under my name. I'm really simple in that way.
Nothing wrong with that. It makes it real easy to find you. So,
Yes.
well, I appreciate it, Sheri, quite a bit. I'll let you go. Thank you for coming on the show. And
Yes.
I hope you have a good night and good luck with Acts 2 Grind.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thanks so much.
You bet. Take care.
Bye.